And they're racing. Aryan Spirit is racing behind the leaders. Approaching the second fence, Jamil is pushed into an early lead from Rima. Policy Setter is pushed into the early lead. Final Liberation is racing midfield. Carolyn Laz is way back. Final Liberation is racing midfield about 3 lengths off the pace. Policy Setter is the leader from Jamil ahead of him, back to Master Cobbler from Final Liberation. Going left-handed. Policy Setter is the leader from Jamil and then Rim and then Master Cobbler from Aryan Spirit. Next is Final Liberation ahead of Come Hither. They're strung out like washing. Policy Setter is the leader by 2. Carolyn Laz is racing out the back a long way off the pace. Final Liberation is racing out the back. Scrum is on the move from over 6 lengths off the lead. Back to Paris is racing midfield and under pressure. Come Hither improves easily. Policy Setter leads from Rimagatorian Spirit ahead of Come Hither, back to Jamil, back to Scrum from Master Cobbler and then back to Paris. Carolyn Laz is anchored in the rear a long way off the pace. Policy Setter is 2 lengths ahead of Rimagatorian Spirit from Jamil. Policy Setter heads the pack by 2. Going left-handed. Policy Setter is 1 length ahead of Rima, just clear of Aryan Spirit from Jamil. Master Cobbler improves easily. Policy Setter is in front from Rima, just clear of Jamil. Carolyn Laz is last and driven along and is around 10 lengths off the pace. Scrum is racing mid-division about 6 lengths off the pace. Approaching the next. Carolyn Laz is last and is over 10 lengths off the lead. The favourite is going backwards. Scrum is anchored in the rear a long way off the pace. Racing left-handed. Coming to the next. Policy Setter heads the pack by 3. Policy Setter is 3 lengths ahead of Rima, 2 lengths clear of Jamil. Next is Master Cobbler, a gap back to Paris, and then Aryan Spirit back to Final Liberation, back to Scrum, back to Come Hither. Policy Setter leads by 4 lengths and is niggled along. Jamil is buried in the chasing pack about 7 lengths off the pace. Carolyn Laz is tailing off. Policy Setter is clearly ahead of Rima, 3 lengths back to Jamil and then Master Cobbler ahead of back to Paris, 2 lengths to Final Liberation. Going left-handed. Policy Setter leads by 4. Entering the final mile. Policy Setter has a clear lead from Rima, 2 lengths clear of Jamil, a gap to Master Cobbler ahead of back to Paris, ahead of Aryan Spirit and then Final Liberation, just clear of Scrum. Rima is going well. Policy Setter is in front from Rima, 2 lengths clear of Jamil. Back to Paris is making ground. Carolyn Laz is last and driven along. Policy Setter leads the way easily. Master Cobbler is making headway. Carolyn Laz brings up the rear and is over 15 lengths off the lead. Master Cobbler is racing midfield and under pressure about 6 lengths off the pace. Come Hither is in the rear division. This is the second last fence. Less than 4 furlongs to go. Master Cobbler looks to be going well. Policy Setter is 1 length in front of Rim ahead of Jamil, just clear of back to Paris from Master Cobbler. Inside the final 3 furlongs. Carolyn Lash is tailed off. Come Hither is pushed along out the back. Back to Paris now leads. Scrum is pushed along in midfield. Aryan Spirit is pushed along mid-division. Master Cobbler now leads. Well into the final furlong. Master Cobbler is a length clear of back to Paris. Master Cobbler is 1 length ahead of back to Paris. Master Cobbler is 2 lengths clear of. Master Cobbler takes it.